Dirt Connections is right here, right now. Dirt Connections, the professionals.
Good afternoon. I wanted to make a quick video. I had a gentleman by the name of William call me about a 250 that he bought at auction, and he doesn't know too much about it, so I was just going to walk through mine, give you some of the basics that I know about this machine. So I'm going to start in the back. You always want to check the oil. Here's your dipstick. You want to change your filters. There's two air filters here and oil filter. You want to change those every 500 hours. I did make this repair right here for that needed to be replaced. That's a new part. I had to remove this to get my wrench in there to undo it. That bracket for the alternator, wiring harness. Put in a new battery. That was pretty easy. This, put in new from the donor machine. Always check the oil. Alright. Then we have hydraulic hourglass right here. And that's looking good. There's a little ball in here. It's always got to be at the top. If it goes down, you got a leak somewhere. Now, William called me, told me he has a little leak. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the final drive. William has a leak on his final drive. So there are two hydraulic lines behind the shield. So to get at them, you got to pull this track, pull that shield. It'll expose the two hydraulic lines that are the feed for the final drive. And you got to replace the O-rings, or maybe one of the lines are busted. But when you expose that, change out both O-rings at a minimum. Then you got to put the shield back on, then put the track back on. I did the track by myself. Took all day, but it's really a two-man job. It's heavy. That's the one I took out. And you don't want to drive that too much, because when that was broken, it dinged up my shield a little bit. So if I'd had another one, I would have popped it on, but that's another day. I also want to mention something that I forgot. That's your fuel filter. Change that bad boy too. Fuel filter, oil filter, two air filters, two hydraulic filters. As we're walking around, super important. You always got to grease your machine every day. Two fittings here. You got one here on each side. You got one here you got to do. You got one on the top of each cylinder. One down at each end of the tilt bucket assembly, right? Then one on each there. Okay, so got that covered. Keep walking around. Your diesel, I put a lock-in gas cap on that bad boy so no one messes with it. Of course, you got the fitting over here, right? And you got the fitting over here for grease. This one on the top. Now, William was unsure how to start the machine, so I'm going to jump in here real quick, show him how mine works. It's a T250 2007 model. I hit run. I'll wait for it to cycle over here. Glow plugs 9 seconds. Wait till that cycles. I get the green light, hit start. Perfect. Now he told me it doesn't run, it's not moving. This is the parking brake. Now it won't move either till you put the bar down. That light will kick in. When it does, then you can hit the rest. That little pressed operate loader, that turns everything on so you can run it. put in good diesel fuel, and I change my filters every 500 hours, and that's about it. A couple other things I know about the machine. A couple other things I know is you got 2 hydraulic filters under the cab. Okay, I don't want to get dirty today, office day. So this bolt, 3/4 inch, make sure you get that metal piece there that comes from Bobcat instead of just a regular washer. It'll help hold the cab down. Okay, this one right here, 15/16. Why do I know that? Because I had these 2 tilt bucket cylinders right here. Right, I had them from my donor machine, so I put 2 new kits in them. And what I did was I took out my existing ones and put in the new ones. They were leaking here at the bottom. So the performance has improved because the cylinders now don't leak. Now you'll see I got that sketchy thing right there. I don't like to do things like that. Anyway, that's because when people always, a lot of the guys put the chain over that step down to the bottom here, and what happens? It breaks this weld. So I got those 2 metal straps at Granger's, 31 inch, $11 each. And I put that strap on there to hold it so that my hydraulic lines stay in place. When I get a chance, I find a welder that can spot weld that. I'm going to get them to weld those brackets when I push it into position better. Another thing, when you're putting in these cylinders, make sure the fittings are up. I paid a guy to come over here and help me. I was doing some errands. He put them in backwards. I had to pull the hydraulic lines, spin these things around so the fittings were up on the high side. What else? Okay. The other thing is, you'll notice this little clamp. Make sure it's fastened to hold the hydraulic line in position so it doesn't move around on you when you're working the machine. So, what else? I changed the track by myself. You should do that. If you get a helper, it'd be great. What else do I know? This plate right here, you want to pull that plate. There's a fitting in there. You add grease to that fitting, and this track will tighten up. Mine probably needs a little bit. I guess one other bit of information that I have is I love the DeWalt. The DeWalt grease machine, $350. It runs on battery charge, 20 volt. Man, what a great tool. And I got the lock for the fitting, so I don't have to hold it. I put it in position, lock it in place, and then I hit it with the DeWalt machine. And that way I keep this thing greased up. This is a great little machine. I got 2,500 hours on it. My estimation is it equates to about a car with 80,000 miles on it. Good tooth bucket, and then a smooth edge bucket. I got a rock bucket, a rake, and a scraper blade. That thing right there, that thing weighs 300 to 400 pounds. That was a bear. I need to figure out where I can go dump that. And then on my used oil, Jiffy Lube will take it for me. I'm an existing customer of theirs, so I'll run that over there probably Monday. Other than that, I think I've gone over the basics of the machine for any of you newbies, right? And no fuss, no muss. Have any questions, or if I can help you with your new machine, new used machine, you know, just contact Dirt Connections, dirtconnections.com, and you know, call the office or fill out a form. If I can help you, I'll do what I can. Oh, one other quick thing. I bought this new. That's the filler cap for my hydraulic fluid. Now you got to get a grommet, and it's got a new filter in it. You don't want to use an old one because you want that thing to breathe, so you can get optimum performance with your machine. And then when you're sitting in the cab, your plate for your machine is on the left hand side. It'll show year, model, and make, serial number. That's an important for you to give to the dealer when you're looking for parts. And again, I didn't want to pull the cab. Those two bolts, you pull them and the cab will tilt back, and that's where you got the two hydraulic filters on the backside behind the seat. I guess you could call that a firewall. Anyway, there's two filters back there. Change those also. You got two hydraulic filters, one oil filter, two air filters. Change them every 500 hours. No fuss, no muss. Take care of your machine. Love your machine, and the machine's going to love you back. And I think that's a wrap. I hope this little video helps for all of you Bobcat T250 owners. Thanks.
Dirt Connections is right here, right now. Dirt Connections, the professionals.